Hey guys, and welcome back to another one, and today to take a closer look at the SJ8 Pro action camera from SJ, which we started our relationship with the wrong foot. And we are back. So let me start by saying that I'm really happy with the image quality of this camera, but as I was saying, we started with the wrong foot. And what I mean is that every time that I did connect the phone, either Android or iOS, to the camera, it would freeze completely and I couldn't do anything at all. Now, I did check the firmware back then and it was running 1.2.0. I did try the update using the phone, but it was impossible because I could not connect the phone to the camera. Now, the solution was simple enough. I went to SJ website, check out if there was any newer firmware. I did download the firmware, insert it in the micro SD card, and then inserted the card here on the camera. And then after that, we just need to turn on the camera and it will do everything by its own, and it will start blinking and so on and so forth. And I finally updated to version 1.2.4, and after that I could connect any of my phones, both Android and iOS, to the camera. And I must say that it's a really quick connection with a little bit of delay, but if we use the 5 GHz connection, it's even faster, so the delay, it's even less noticeable. So right now I'm happy with the camera, but if any of you guys purchase this one, just make sure that if you have the original firmware, go to the website and update the firmware so that you can have a much better experience than we were having with the original firmware. Now, that being said, there are a few things that I really enjoy in this camera, starting with the build quality of it. It's really nice, it feels nice on the hand. It has this rubberized feeling right over here, which is great. It also has this front display that shows a lot of information, and it can be useful depending on the way that we use this type of camera. But if we use it to film ourselves, then we can have a lot of information right over here, which is really useful. It also has a built-in 1/4-inch screw that it's useful if you want to use this kind of camera on any tripod. It has two different UIs, which I really love the option to use either one of those. Now, if you ask me which one is better, personally I do prefer the one that it's called the SJ view. It looks simpler to use, but the classic view, it's also easy enough to use. Now, one other thing that I really enjoy is the app on the mobile phones, both on Android and on iOS, which are very easy to use, and we will find all the camera options available so that we can change really quickly. In terms of image quality and resolution, it's also great because it has 4K capability at 60 frames per second. We can also record at 1080, 120 frames per second, which is just great. And then finally 720p at 240 frames per second. So if we don't mind losing a little bit of resolution and image quality, we will have 240 frames per second, which is really cool for some shots. Now, resolution aside, in terms of image quality, we can compare this device to other devices that are more expensive in terms of image quality. The only thing that I find here is that we lose a little bit of dynamic range in terms of the image that we capture, and especially in video. In photos, we see a higher quality, a higher dynamic range, if I can say so. But in terms of video, I have seen cameras that are a lot more expensive, of course, having a little bit more of dynamic range, which when we zoom in, we will see a better difference. But for the usual day-to-day usage, it is more than acceptable. And that's one of the main reasons that I believe that this camera has a really good value. One other thing that I really enjoy in it, it's the built-in stabilization, that we can notice a huge difference when it's turned on and turned off. And also the distortion remover, we can also use it only in a few resolutions and formats, and it is understandable because there will be a cropped in image. But this is, in my personal opinion, and the way that I use this type of camera, really useful, so that we can lose that distortion, especially at the end of the lens. So really great features right over here. Lastly, in terms of battery, my usage, I can get almost 1 hour of a full charge on the battery, so this is not bad at all, especially because we can configure how long we want it to sleep, how long we want to have the screen on and off, and so on and so forth. Lastly, for those of you that are asking, hey Robert, what about audio? It sucks, like it sucks on every other camera, action camera. So if you want to get good audio out of it, you will have to buy an USB-C adapter to 3.5 jack, so that you can connect an external microphone. But in that way, you will not be able to use it with the waterproof casing like any other action camera. So here will depend on the way that we use this type of camera. If we want to keep the housing and record better audio, we will have to do, as always, using an external recorder like a phone or even a microphone. And this is it. So in terms of conclusion, what I can say is that I was a bit frustrating at the beginning. It was just for a couple of hours. Then after updating the firmware, the camera is working as it should. In terms of quality, in terms of price for what we get, I do believe that it's more than fair. Now there are several packages, one with no accessories at all and the other with all the accessories. At this moment, both of them are the same price. I would suggest obviously to get the package with all the accessories. As you could see by the images, image quality, resolution, the options that we have, really great for the price. So I would say that this is one of those cameras that I've got no problems at all in recommending, of course, if you are looking for a budget camera but on the higher price. Also, other camera that I use and I really enjoy, and it will be almost in par in terms of image quality, is the V4K and the new version V4K Plus. So these cameras that are a little bit higher on budget but will deliver almost the same image quality than most of the more expensive cameras on the market right now. And that's about it, guys. Hopefully this video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto George, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.